चलो
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर मैं क्लास में हूँ, मैं आपको कॉल बैक करता हूँ फारिग होकर, मेरी 8:30 क्लास है जी। चलिए जी, एवरीबॉडी बैक, ओके। चलिए जी, सो लेट्स रिज्यूम, द अदर्स विल जॉइन इन। आई होप मैं 1 मिनट के बाद ही शुरू कर रहा हूँ। चलिए ठीक है, चलिए जी, दिस इज बेसिकली द बिग पिक्चर एंड द कंपैरिजन। तो आप सोच रहे हैं ये बड़ा सिंपल सा टॉपिक है, इस पे एग्जामिनर ने क्या करना है? वेल, लेट मी शो यू what we have with regards to some past paper questions for this topic. Okay, there are, if I'm not wrong, there are almost 3 or 4 instances in the very recent past papers where the examiner has basically assessed this idea. मैं आपके सामने वो instances लिख देता हूँ, आप अपने पास note कर लें। May June 2017, paper 4-2, question 10, A part, that's one instance. And then you have May June 2012, paper 4-2, question number 10B part. Again, it's from section B. Then you have May June 2018. May June 2018, paper 4-1, question 8, part A. Okay, or there's a 4th instance also in May June 2011, paper 4-1, question number 9 A part, question 9 A part. ठीक है जी, ये 4 instances हैं recent past papers में, and some maybe not so recent. इन चारों questions को मैंने आपके सामने रखे हैं. Let's look at them one by one. So look at this question. This is from paper 4 section B, the essay type question. Compare the endocrine and the nervous system in control and coordination in mammals. ठीक है, अब देखिए यहाँ पे उन्होंने बहुत, ये मैंने आपके सामने डायरेक्ट मार्क स्कीम रखी है बच्चों। कैन यू see my screen being shared, everybody?
Yes, sir.
yes sir.
Okay, चलो जी। So अच्छा जी, अब देखिए मोर और लेस यहाँ पे जो पॉइंट्स दिए हैं उसने, कम्युनिकेशन, नेचर ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन, ये तकरीबन वही पॉइंट्स हैं जो मैंने आपको अभी नोट्स में बताए हैं सारे। ठीक है, ऑल आई मीन देयर कंपेयर, उन्होंने टैबुलर फॉर्म में दिए हुए, मैंने आपको जरा डायग्रामेटिक फॉर्म में दे दिया। इट्स इजी टू रिमेंबर. So these are the differences. But one interesting thing that you can see in this marking scheme are the similarities. Okay, so देखिए क्वेश्चन में उसने कहीं पे भी नहीं कहा हुआ कि similarities बताएं और differences बताएं, लेकिन compare का मतलब ही ये है that if there are differences, you tell the differences. So you have 9 of them exactly. These are the 9 that I mentioned in the marking in the notes earlier. And then you have similarities. Okay, यहाँ पे देखिए 3 points हैं आपके पास similarities में, इनको भी आपने अपने notes में ऐड कर लेना इंशाल्लाह. You are going to get these PDFs anyway, so don't worry about that. So in similarities you have cell signaling. Both involve cell signaling. Cell signaling should not be a new concept for you. You have done that in topic number 4 membranes. यानी कि कहीं ना कहीं पे दोनों में cell signaling involve होती है. Detail, I mean both involve signal molecule. Like for example, if you're talking about ADH, आपको पता है वो receptor पे आके bind करता है. फिर इसी तरह nervous communication में भी खास तौर पे जब हम synapse की बात करेंगे, वहाँ पे when we talk about synapse, that's exactly what you're going to see. It's exactly the same. And then you have chemicals, both involve chemicals. As I said earlier, in nervous system, you have the synapse part that involves chemicals. Okay, so again, that's the similarity. ये important चीज है, इसको आप ज़हन में रखें. Okay, so again, 8 marks, not a joke. Okay, so this is although a very basic beginning topic, but still you do find them in the exams. Again, मैं थोड़ा सा इसकी examiner report पे ज़रा time spend करना चाह रहा हूँ, because that will give you an idea. Okay. Many candidates provided separate accounts of the roles of endocrine and nervous system in control and coordination mammals, while stronger responses, जिस तरह के राबिया आपका होगा, ज़ैनब आपका होगा, हमास आपका होगा. आप हंसे मत, मैं जोक नहीं मार रहा था. I'm quite serious. Okay, I don't know why you laugh when I always say this. Okay, I mean honestly, I'm not saying that I know you're laughing. Okay, so while the stronger responses, okay, अगर आपको मेरी बात पे यकीन नहीं आ रहा, तो मैं reiterate करने के लिए यहाँ पर लिख देता हूँ likes of Rabia, Zainab and Hamas. Happy? दिल को खुश अच्छा करने के लिए ये ख्याल अच्छा है गालिब. Something like this if I'm not wrong. Okay, whatever the case is. While the stronger responses compared them, most candidates understood that endocrine system releases hormones into the blood, whereas the nervous system transmits impulses along the neurons. Many continue to add that response is faster in the nervous system, although short-lived, compared with slower but longer lasting. ये देखें, ये इस point को मैं एक जरा different color से highlight करना चाह रहा हूँ. इस point में बच्चों को बहुत ज़्यादा confusion होती है. देखिए क्या मतलब है इसका. Faster nervous system में है, लेकिन short-lived है, और slower है hormonal में, लेकिन long lasting है. Don't confuse. I mean, they're self-explanatory. Don't confuse them. The nervous would travel. आप किसी गर्म चीज को हाथ लगाए, फौरन without even you realizing, you will pull your hand back. That is really quick. और वो आपको अगले 10 दिन के लिए या अगले 10 घंटे या even अगले 10 मिनट के लिए वो गरम चीज नहीं लगेगी. That will just be for seconds or maybe an instance of a second. लेकिन if you compare that for a hormone, I mean, you don't realize the hormone अगर वो secrete हो रहा है कहीं से pituitary gland से, तो उसको for example किडनी तक पहुंचने में बहरहाल थोड़ा सा टाइम तो लगेगा, या फिर जो puberty के hormones हैं, but once they have their effect, they will be long lasting. I mean, your voice remains the voice of a man. If you're a man, you won't go back to your voice जिस तरह आपकी बचपन की voice. I mean, it's long lasting. Okay. Few commented on the difference in transmission speed or the hormonal stimulation is widespread. Some candidates appreciated that nervous communication is electrical in nature, whereas that of endocrine is chemical, although hardly any stated that nervous stimulation results in response in either muscle or gland. ये भी हमने सारा कर लिया. And look at the last paragraph. Most responses did not mention any similarities between the two systems. Comment on both using chemicals or cell signalings were rare. Okay, चलिए जी, ये देखें again. Again, look at the number, look at the marks. This is again May June 2012. Describe the roles of endocrine and nervous system in control and coordination in mammals. 9 marks. Okay. देखिए वही points हैं, कोई नया point नहीं है. Everything is the same. The idea that we've discussed. Endocrine में hormones हैं, they're chemical messengers. They are यहाँ पे थोड़ी सी detail आपको और मिल रही है कि they are secreted by ductless glands, जहाँ पे they are released into the blood. They have target organs, receptors on cell membranes. Like for example, ADH जो है वो आपके collecting duct के जो epithelial cells हैं उनकी cell membranes के ऊपर receptors पे attach होता है. I mean, they've given a mark for example. And then nervous system. Now this is important because we have some rejections here that I basically want to pinpoint. Nervous के लिए उसने impulses का word use किया है और उसने देखें reject किसको किया बच्चों, electrical signals को या current के word. देखें, you don't have to get confused. अभी मैंने आपको ऊपर बताया है, ऊपर मार्क्स स्कीम में आप देख रहे हैं, नेचर ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन को वो इलेक्ट्रिकल कह रहा है, लेकिन मोड ऑफ ट्रांसमिशन इज द कम्युनिकेशन इटसेल्फ इज नोन एज एक्शन पोटेंशियल और द नर्व इंपल्स. यहाँ पे देखें, इट्स सो डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड, यहाँ पे वो रिजेक्ट कर रहा है. What is traveling in the neurons? It is the nerve impulse, not the quote unquote electrical signals या current travel नहीं कर रहा. So again, this is really important, and I want you to understand this. इसी तरह they travel along the neurons, not the nerves. Again, you know the difference between neurons and nerves. Nerves are a collection of neurons. So for you to say that वो nerves में travel कर रहा है, that defies the entire concept. Okay. And synapse, ये neuromuscular junction is basically, I'm going to come to this word when we do muscles. लेकिन मसल और न्यूरॉन जहाँ पे खत्म होता है, मसल जहाँ पे शुरू होता है, उसको न्यूरोमस्कुलर जंक्शन कहते हैं. So that's basically how you put it. And then reference to any receptor. अब फिर देखें differences में उसने बताया, slow effect, long lasting, widespread, and extra details. So again, 9 marks का था, इनमें से आप कोई भी points लिख दें, that is basically quite self-explanatory. Simple सी examiner report है, इसकी भी देख लेते हैं. Majority of the candidates were able to describe the roles of endocrine and nervous system in control and coordination in detail. Many gaining full credit, like you, Rabia, and like you, Zainab, and like you, Hamas. In addition to the structures involved, extra credit was often awarded for descriptions of how the system functioned in terms of speed action and how long the effect lasted or it was widespread. ठीक है? फिर ये देखें सेक्शन ए में से भी कुछ questions हैं like again they have a table, small table, method of communication, method of transmission, वही चीजें हैं, transmission speed, duration, effect, comparison पूछा हुआ है. So there's again, if you look at this smart scheme, again it's the same thing जो ऊपर मैंने आपको diagrammatic form में explain किया. And then again this one last example of again it's the same type of question. Outline the ways in which endocrine and nervous system carry out their roles. 8 marks. बिल्कुल उसी तरह की marks की मैं endocrine के बारे में hormones हैं, their chemicals secreted by ductless glands, have target organs, receptors. I mean आपको लगेगा कि exactly वही marks की उठा के उसने रख दी हैं, but they're different questions. Okay. So yeah, again, so that's basically how this topic is assessed. ठीक है जी. Are we clear about this topic, बच्चों? इस topic में कोई problem, कोई मसला? So far, so good. Yes or no? Are we good so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
चलिए जी, अब आगे चलते हैं और let me give you. Wait, if you can just give me 1 second, please. मैंने अपनी slides को भी आपकी क्लास में थोड़ा सा update किया था. And yep, file, save as PDF. Yes. Okay. चलो इसको अपने नोट पे लेके आते हैं. File. Okay, challenge. There we go. बच्चों स्कूल खुलने की कोई अपडेट? हमारे बेरे टाउन स्कूल वालों ने तो बुला लिया है 7 से. I don't know. I mean, do you have
सर कह
anything?
तो यही रहे हैं कि 15 से खुल जाएंगे probably.
हाँ अभी देखें 7th को फाइनल मीटिंग होनी, खुल तो प्रोबेबिलिटी तो यही है खुलेंगे, लेकिन I don't know. I mean, क्या खिचड़ी बनानी है?
दोबारा बंद हो सकते हैं, कह रहे हैं कि सेकंड वेव की भी चांसेस हैं कि बाहर काफी जगहों पे आ गई है.
सेकंड वेव पाकिस्तान में आई तो हुई है, लेकिन वो इतनी खतरनाक नहीं है. I mean, yes, there are spikes in cases, but you know, it's not. I'm not saying just to the. लेकिन this is the doctors are saying कि वो इतनी toxic नहीं है second wave, जिस तरह ये छोटी ईद के बाद था. देखिए इंशाल्लाह क्या बनता है, लेकिन एक बात तो तय है, the next academic year is going to be a rough ride. क्योंकि कभी स्कूल में ये तो जरूर तय बात है कि अब आप खुद देखें ना कि किसी बेचारे को एक छींक आ गई स्कूल. अब आपको मैं कहूँ कि अगर आपने बैठ के आप अगर मैं आपको कहूँ मेरी क्लास में बैठे और आपने अपने मुंह पे खारिश नहीं करनी, मुझे कोई ऐसे कहना, आप यकीन करें मुझे कोई 20 करोड़ दफा खारिश हो गई. So it's obvious. I don't know, when I go outside I get this temptation of I don't know, खांसी मुझे बाहर जाके फजूल में आना शुरू हो जाती है. घर में मैं बिल्कुल सही रहता हूँ. I don't know. So You never know. मुझे ये सोच के हौल उठ रहे हैं when I'm in the classroom, मास्क पहन के मैं क्लास कैसे पढ़ाऊंगा मुझसे. I mean it is आजकल हब्स के मौसम में I don't know, मेरे लिए it's very difficult for me to speak while I have my mask on. I don't know what I'm going to do, so let's see. Fingers crossed. चले जी. So लेकिन एक बात तय है, बाहर के मुल्कों में स्कूल्स वगैरह खुल गए हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है कि नहीं खुले. Yes, there have instances where some of the schools have been closed because of some rumored cases. किसी को जुकाम हो गया, किसी को छींक आ गई, लेकिन बहरहाल fingers crossed है. Let's see, let's hope and pray for the best. आगे अल्लाह को जो मंजूर इंशाअल्लाह. लेकिन एक या चलें अब रहने दें, क्लास हम डिस्कशन कहीं की कहीं निकल जाएगी. Okay, so again, this is a table. We have done this already. Communication, nervous. इस पे मैं नहीं जाऊँगा. Now, the next thing I want to show you is I'm going to give you an introduction of the basic structure of neurons. देखिए, ये आपने याद रखना है कि this neuron, the neuron is a specialized cell. Okay. What do I mean when I say it's a specialized cell? क्या मतलब? Okay, any cell, when it undergoes a specialization, like for example, the red blood cell once upon a time was a normal cell. Then it went through the process of specialization, and once it got specialized, its function is only to carry oxygen. Okay? Similarly, the nerve cell once upon a time was a normal cell. Okay? जो आपका nerve cell है या neuron है, once upon a time, once upon, ये मैं आपको समझाने के लिए सिर्फ बता रहा हूँ, once upon a time, लेकिन of course in one point in time they were normal cells. Okay, then they went through this process of specialization, of course the details of which we don't go into, and then eventually finally they became the normal cells. अच्छा, अब specialization क्या थी? ये सेल थोड़ा सा छोटा हुआ और इसकी जो साइटोप्लाज्मिक एक्सटेंशंस हैं वो आइदर साइड पे जाना शुरू हो गई. So these were the extensions, if you like, of the cell surface membrane and the cytoplasm. Okay, and of course this thing is was known as the cell body. And then eventually you had something like this. So basically ये वाला पोर्शन, सेल बॉडी वाला पोर्शन बेचारा छोटा सा रह गया, सेल बॉडी जिसमें न्यूक्लियस था. And you have these fellows, these extensions were known as fibers. Excuse me, were known as fibers. And the function of the neuron was to carry nerve impulses. ठीक है जी. अच्छा, अब nerve impulse की अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं, if I say that this cell will carry nerve impulses, that means it will be in either direction. So let's say if that's the direction of the nerve impulse, ठीक है? That's the direction of the nerve impulse. तो इनमें से एक fiber है which is carrying the nerve impulse towards the cell body. क्या ख्याल है? ये वाला जिसको मैं label कर रहा हूँ, have I labeled this correctly, that this fiber is carrying the nerve impulse towards the cell body, right? Because that's what according to the direction. And this fiber, well, इसको मैंने fibers लिख दिया, ये fiber है, sorry. This fiber is carrying the nerve impulse away from the cell body. ऐसे ही है ना, देखिए ये cell body है, cell body से दूर जा रहा, from the cell body. Now the fiber which carries the nerve impulse away from the cell body, and I am reiterating this, carries the nerve impulse away from the cell body, is known as axon. ठीक है, तो ये वाला जो fiber है इसका नाम axon है, and the one that carries the nerve impulse towards is known as the dendron. Again, these are not new words, by the way. We've done this, all of this back in Poland. So finally, you have a nerve cell with three basic things. You have the cell body, you have the axon, you have the dendron. ठीक है जी, ये आपकी cell body है, ये आपका axon है. Of course, if that's the direction of the nerve impulse, this is your dendron. And then there's one interesting thing that the neurons, they have. They like to wear jackets, okay? And that jacket is missing from several instances in between. This quote unquote jacket, if you like, is known as the myelin sheath, okay? Iska kya function hai, ye kis cheez se bani hai? Inshallah, we're going to look at that in detail when we do the functions tomorrow, along with the reflex action, okay? So today I have just given you, let me quickly summarize all what we've talked about today. I started off with giving you a basic introduction about the topic, और आपको नहीं भी बताया था ये A2 का सबसे lengthy topic है, and there are almost 9 major subtopics that we will be talking about. Alhamdulillah, we have covered the first major topic today, that is the comparison between the nervous and the endocrine system, okay? ये इस diagram में ऊपर मैंने आपको generally introduction दिया था nervous system का, and then we went on into details of a comparison between the nervous and the hormonal system. Then we went into some past paper questions. I skimmed through all of them that we have since 2011 till May, June 2020. There have been 4 instances where this subtopic has been assessed, and I have given you an introduction to the neurons. Ji bachcho, any questions we have for today? चलें जी, अगर आपको क्वेश्चन नहीं है तो इंशाल्लाह we will stop here today. We will continue with neurons, reflex action, इंशाल्लाह tomorrow. और फिर परसों हम action potential को शुरू करेंगे. ठीक है जी? Thank you बच्चों. इंशाल्लाह see you tomorrow same time at 7:30 p.m. आपका बहुत ख्याल रखें. अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू.